So let me tell you a story. Back in 2018, a friend of mine was absolutely raving about a show called The Dragon Prince that was about to come out on Netflix. At the time, I thought that was cool and all, but I didn't have access to Netflix, so I was in a whole different phase of my life, so I was kind of like, whatever, cool, I guess. And then, 4 years later, I was bored one day and thought to myself, hey, I need a new Netflix show to watch that isn't Arcane for the 47th time. What should I do? Oh wait, did my friend say that The Dragon Prince was really good? And, well, I think the fact that I'm making a video just to rant about it pretty much says everything. Going in, I did not expect to be presented with one of the greatest masterpieces of television I've ever seen. So I don't really know how to word this, but The Dragon Prince is that fantasy show. The show I would have eaten up as a kid, and honestly, what can I say? I've eaten it up as an adult. Actually, now I think about it, that probably would have terrified me as a kid, but my point still stands. The overall tone strikes this perfect balance between wholesomeness and darker elements, with a nice smattering of unrelenting emotional damage throughout. Yes, Season 3, Episode 4, I'm looking at you. All 3 current seasons are paced so perfectly, with little to no filler whatsoever, and the overall quality pretty much never dips. The thing that astounds me is that these seasons are only 9 25-minute episodes each, and yet so much happens in them that you don't even notice how short they are. The world building is also absolutely phenomenal. I mean, a lot of this gets explained in the opening of the first episode, but the basic premise is that there are 2 main factions, the human realm and Zadia, which is the magic elf dragon land place. There are 4 kinds of elves that we know of, so far. There's the Moonshadow Elves, the Sunfire Elves, the Earthblood Elves, and the Sky, I don't remember the actual name, but they're the Sky Elves. They can fly and crap. Anyway, the human realm and Zadia had a big falling out a long time ago, so they basically tell each other to fuck off every now and then, and the Dragon King patrols the border to stop the humans from telling the elves to fuck off. And yeah, that's pretty much how things are at the start anyway. I did promise myself I wouldn't spoil anything in this video though, so that's all I'll say. Anyway, on to the best part of this show, the characters. It's probably worth noting that the show's main character, Callum, has the same voice actor as Sokka from Atla. While Callum isn't quite as much of a goofball as Sokka, I feel like Jack DeSena still channels that sort of chaotic charm that makes all his characters so lovable. I think what I love most about Callum is how human he is and how he responds to things, and just how caring he is to the people around him. You can really see this in his bond with Ezran, and speaking of which, the way the show establishes from the get-go how close these brothers are, and also their relationship with their dad. And here's where the show does something incredible. I ask you this. How often, in an animated show aimed at kids, have you seen a kid with a step-parent who loves them more than anything, and that step-parent is also, you know, the king? I've never seen that be done before in anything, and it honestly really struck a chord with me. And oh boy, with the stuff that happens down the line, I went through an awful lot of tissues. Ezran is also lovable as hell. They managed to make a kid character who isn't annoying and is integral to the plot without being Baby Yoda. I absolutely loved his growth throughout the first 3 seasons, seeing how he matured and stayed strong even when all the odds were stacked against him. I would say more, but then I'd be getting into spoiler territory, so I won't do that. And to round off our main trio, we have Rayla, a Moonshadow Elf sent as... spoilers again. Damn it. I will say though, as someone who usually finds elves to be the least likeable characters in any fantasy media, be that Lord of the Rings, Dragon Age, The Witcher, yada yada, I actually became really attached to Rayla. Yeah, to the point where I drew her. Her design is so cute and beautiful and badass at the same time, her voice is so nice, and she has a really amazing arc over the course of the series. I loved watching her and Callum slowly learning to trust each other so much, and the things that followed. If I say any more I'll spoil something, so no. I will shut up. I feel like since Sauron and Claudia duo for much of the first 3 seasons, I'll just talk about them together. I think it says a lot that Claudia is the character I probably like the least out of all of them, but I still really like her. She has such a cool balance between Dark Mage who does some really questionable things and Daughter who just wants to keep her friends and family safe. Sauron is a lovable idiot who is literally an even more adorable version of Alistair from Dragon Age, and while he isn't quite as much of a teddy bear as Alistair at first, he does have some amazing growth over the course of the series, and I went from being pretty indifferent to him at first to him being in my top 5 characters in the whole show. Also, there's something about these two that's just so compelling. The whole divorced parents thing that ends up driving a wedge between them until they're set on completely different paths. How often do you see that in a kid's show? Which brings me to who is easily my favourite character in the whole series, Aunt Amaya. The coolest, snarkiest, most badass, loyal, and insanely likable character you've ever seen in anything ever, who goes up solo against super-powered fire elves with only a shield, defies Viren when he's trying to start wars, all because she loves the princess so much. And oh yeah, did I mention she's deaf? No joke. Every time Amaya was on screen, I was dying inside from joy. It's been a long while since I've loved a character this much, but let me tell you, she is it. I mean, I love badassery. I had the biggest thing for Vi when I first watched Arcane. And also, her design is gorgeous, and I love her interactions she has with Gren. Just, ugh, my heart. Also, this show has queer up. It's not as overt as, say, like, She-Ra. But with that said, I feel like it'll become more so, and there will be more going forward, what with the build-up we've gotten in the first 3 seasons. And the soundtrack, holy shit! As a total music nerd, I have to say this show's score is absolutely phenomenal. It conveys every emotion so perfectly and makes the whole thing feel so cohesive. I really would talk about specific moments, but then I'd be getting into spoiler territory, so I can't. Okay, that's probably all I can say without spoiling anything. But I will say that this show has some fantastic villains. I was so invested in their stories and the mysteries presented by them, alongside the main character struggles, and I cannot wait to see where the story goes in season 4. So yeah, The Dragon Prince is the greatest masterpiece of animated television you probably haven't seen. This show's fanbase is disappointingly small, and I really want to see it getting more love, and for more people to love and enjoy it as much as I did. Season 4 also comes out in a month's time, so you can fully expect me to disappear under a rock for as long as that takes. And here I am rambling when I should be telling you to go and watch this show already! Oh yeah, and don't forget your tissues. When the emotional damage hits, don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, have fun. Bye!